My name is Sadi Awienat. I'm the CTO and the Global Services Lead in EMC. I joined EMC recently in 2012. And prior to joining EMC, I used to be the CIO of Qatar Foundation for many years. As a matter of fact, I started with the Qatar Foundation when Qatar Foundation was a small organization with big plans and great vision. And I was in charge of laying out the strategy, the IT strategy, and build the practice within Qatar Foundation. And that is something that I'm really proud of. Today, we will be talking about cloud computing and starting with looking into the history of IT, because it's very important to see how the IT and the ICT industry has evolved. So it started with the mainframe and mini-computer era, where we had this centralized, reliable kind of computing that was offered to mainly large enterprise and government. And then with the invention of the microprocessor, hello? Okay, now good. So I can move freely on the stage because I find it difficult to sit behind the podium. So started with the mainframe and mini-computer era that offered big enterprises and government the ability to have a central, reliable kind of computing. And then with the with the invention of the microprocessor, the power of computing started to shift to the large population of consumer. And in the PC era, we start to see a lot of innovation around the application development and practical usage of computer. And then the PC era quickly took advantage of the development that happened in the network. And we start connecting PCs together and create this kind of network and distributed computing. And all of these waves of innovation, as I mentioned, had impacted the ICT industry big time. Yet, the one with the most significant impact, not only to the ICT industry, the one that impacted each and every single aspect of our life, the personal, the social, the economical, and even the political, started with the rise of the internet. In the cloud era, the boundaries of the network has been removed. And we started to shift from a platform that consisted of millions of users and thousands of applications to a new platform that we call third generation platform that consists of billions of users and billions of applications. In this new platform, we're seeing the mobile devices being the dominant device of accessing information and computing. We're seeing the social media invading our personal and business life. And we're seeing the cloud computing taking its steps towards business and individuals. And most importantly, the data is growing at a rate that we have never seen. It's exploding. And the growth of the data is exponential. There has been a term that we have been using called the Internet of Things, which eventually says that everything will be connected to the internet. Cisco, they predict that in 2022, there will be 50 billion things connected permanently to the internet. And some analysts think that this is very conservative, and they really believe that there will be over than 200 billion things. Things mean human and non-human, device and non-device, that will be connected to the internet. So we can imagine when these 200 billion things are connected, what type of communication that they will be having, what type of collaboration that they will be generating, and most importantly, what is the size and the speed of the information that they will be generating and consuming. IDC predicts that in 2020, the size of our digital universe will reach 40 zettabyte. 40 zettabyte, which is 50 times the size of the digital universe that we had in 2010. So we're talking about 40 zettabyte that will happen not in 100 years from today, it's 2020, which is less than 7 years from today. And Gartner, they believe that the nexus of the four forces, mobile, cloud, social, and the big data, collectively are creating a new era of computing. But if we look inside our organization, what do we see? We see from one side, IT department, they are overwhelmed with their operations, trying to keep the operations up and running. spending 75% of time, resource, effort, just to keep the operations up and running. And that leaves them with less than 25% on innovation, on new projects, to keep coping with the demand and the changes in the market. And on the other side, the business, they are facing new market challenges. They are facing competition, be it from global or local, and they are required to come up with new innovation, with a new product, with new initiatives. And they need to bring this initiative and new innovation quickly to the market. The go-to-market strategy has to be done quickly. So in the old days, to overcome such huge demand on IT, what do? We throw more resources on IT. We increase the budget of IT. We go for subcontracting and doing outsourcing. However, with the financial crisis that we had in 2008, this is not anymore an option. We are seeing budget of IT being flattened or, in many cases, decreasing. And what makes it even worse on IT, that business nowadays, they have a choice. Gone are the days that the business, they are 100% relying on IT to get IT services. They can go to the market, they can use IT services even without the knowledge of IT, on what we call shadow IT. So how can we overcome such challenges? How can IT do more with less? How can IT respond to the demand growth, yet maintaining the same or improving the service level agreement that they have? Continuing with the traditional way of managing IT is not going to help us. Managing the IT of the future using the past tools and models is not going to help us. The need to transform IT becomes so important. The need to transform operations and deliver IT as a service becomes so essential. And when we say delivering IT as a service, we mean that IT has to compete for the business within the organization. Means that IT has to innovate faster and has to align with the business and add value to the business. And that requires substantial shift in the IT model, in the skills, roles, and the organization. And this transformation to deliver IT as a service is a journey. It's a long-term journey that has many challenges. It's not an easy thing to do and requires time, and you become more and more matured with time. Yet, there are accelerators that can help you reach your target in a shorter time. One of these key accelerator or expediter is the cloud computing. And when we enter the world of the cloud computing, the first question that I'm sure everybody is asking, what type of cloud computing are we talking about? Are we talking about private cloud computing or public cloud? Are we talking about social, personal, government, community type of cloud? What type of cloud should we start with or presume? Gartner has asked this question and included that question in their annual survey in 2011. And the result of that survey that they conducted, that 66% of CIOs believe and are having a private cloud strategy either today or by 2014 they will have a strategy to pursue private cloud. And this is not a surprise to me, because IT, they want to leverage the investment that they have made over many years in building that enterprise IT, the traditional type of data center. So it makes sense to leverage that investment and shift to what is called private cloud. And the journey to private cloud starts, in our opinion, with standardizing on an x86 platform so that you can leverage the know-how that you have acquired on your team over many years. And then building on top of that a virtualization layer so that you can reduce your CapEx, you can remove the dependency on hardware, physical hardware, and you can reduce the CapEx. And hosting on a single physical box, multiple virtual instances. And once this is achieved, then the ability to start automating and reducing the OpEx of your budget start being visible. and improving the quality as well. So instead of having silos within our data centers, a complete technology stack, network, storage, computing, 4 verticals for my Windows, and have another technology, complete technology stack for my high performance computing that is not related to the other business analytics or Linux environment, and instead grouping the resources together, all the storage resources, all the network resources, all the computing resources together, pooling them, and extract the intelligence away from that physical hardware so that the business applications can leverage that intelligence. Abstracting, pooling, automating are the key characteristic of the next generation data center, what is called the software-defined data center, the data center of the future. Starting with the physical data center, the traditional data center that we had that is physical, hardware-oriented, moving to virtualized data center, and nowadays we are having highly virtualized, automated data center, and the future will be around completely automated, completely virtualized, software-defined data center. That is the core of the private cloud of the future. So private cloud gives us better way to manage our data center. It gives us the trust, the control, the reliability that we are keen on. On the other side, service provider, they are giving options. They are building infrastructure and topping that with service, be it infrastructure as a service or software as a service or platform as a service, and they are making it very attractive to consume. It's so dynamic, it's on demand, flexible, and customers, they love these. So, is it possible to have the good of both worlds? Can we combine together this wonderful values together? Can I have on-demand services, yet reliable, dynamic with control, efficiency with reliability? Can I have a hybrid model that would enable me to swap between my private cloud and public cloud, that I can seamlessly redistribute my workload as needed and when needed? The answer is yes. And to give the example that at the end of the year or at the end of the month, when we have to run this kind of reconciliation reports that takes a lot of time and resources to generate, sometimes takes days, would it be really nice if we can run those type of reports on the public cloud? Can we have them consuming the resources from somewhere else and bring the result back to my organization? Or if this is sensitive data or I have technical constraint, alternatively, can't I move some of my non-mission critical application to the cloud during this period so that I can free the resources and make them allocated within my data center to run such type of function and job? And I'm sure that many of you will start and raising the flag that, wait a minute, are you asking us to put our data with Google-like or Amazon or Salesforce? How about data privacy? You know that the US government, they have the right to go and access the data from Google-like without even our permission. And moving our data to such public cloud can put us on conflict with like regulations in Egypt, or could create a compliance issue with Central Bank of Egypt or other regulatory bodies. And I cannot agree more that in many enterprises, many cases, this is a very valid concern. So, would it be possible to have, instead of that global public cloud, more of a trusted public cloud? A public cloud that is managed by local service provider. A public cloud that is trusted within the national, that I can apply my rules to that. I can have at the national level the compliance that I wish to have. And the answer is yes. And this is the future. In the private sector, we will see telcos and mainly key service provider building such capabilities. Why? because this is a new revenue stream that they will make money out of it. And we'll see companies like Mobinil, Vodafone, Etisalat in Egypt building such capabilities. On the government and semi-government side, we will see similar initiatives done by the government. The reason and the motivation behind this is not revenue. It's the cost control. It's the ability to have agility, agile model, and the ability to showcase this. His Excellence, at the beginning opening, he mentioned that cloud computing is a core, fundamental pillar of the strategy in Egypt. So it's not surprising for me to see that the Ministry of Telecommunication and IT in Egypt are embracing a plan or a strategy to build a cloud architecture in Egypt so that all the affiliates within Egypt are associated with the Ministry of Telecommunication can benefit and can use and consume the services. So in such model, why do we need, in the old days, why do we need to have an IT infrastructure deployed in each and every single affiliates within that country? Why do I need to have people sitting in all of them managing the same function, doing the same job? Wouldn't that be a duplication of investment? Wouldn't that be a waste? So instead, why don't we build this once and have a shared service, extend to the affiliates the IT service? And by doing this, it's not only that we will be achieving cost reduction, it's not only that we will open new horizons for innovation, for collaboration between those affiliates. It's also about us being agile and rolling out new affiliates, new initiatives. Because when this time happens, when that happens, the need to have changes and roll out IT service becomes so important. It's a cloud model that you just subscribe with. And you get the service while you are maintaining the highest level of trust, compliance, and control. The other example that I would like to have is, at the government level, is kind of common case management. So imagine if we can have people or related people being able to access data according to our predefined policies and governance. Imagine if we have the content being collaborated and shared among different players according to well-defined workflow and managed process. And in such a thing, cloud case management, we can have a kind of citizen type of case file folder, I would say, that would capture the whole life cycle of a citizen, starting from the birth until death. And during this period, we can capture every interaction that that individual has made with the government, all the education, the business, the social activities that has been made is captured in a central government type of case management. And because we believe that customers, they have the right to choose, such kind of platform that we are offering using Documentum in EMC, which is a very generic, rich platform, we are giving the choice to the customer to either subscribe tomorrow with on-demand type of service so that there is minimum investment from the customer side, which is the public cloud, or the option to have this type of infrastructure or technology stack being built within your premises so that you have the full control according to private cloud model. And in the future, once the need becomes there, that architecture can be scaled and given as a public cloud to trusted parties and entities. And in EMC, we believe that our mission is to help customers reaching their goals towards cloud computing, their journey to cloud computing. And we believe that we are uniquely positioned to fulfill that mission, thanks to our rich portfolio of technologies that is very extensive and very rich, that covers a whole technology stack and different type of business offerings, starting from data storage, data protection, availability, all the way through the security, through different technology stack layer, all the way to document archiving and business analytics, coupled with our in-depth knowledge and expertise that our global professional services team have acquired, dealing with thousands of customers over many, many years. We will be able to help customers taking the ideas from inception all the way until the end, doing the planning, the design, and all the way through deployment and implementation and post-implementation. So, in conclusion, we believe that those mega trends that we talked about, mobile, cloud, social, and big data, are mega trends that are happening. No doubt about it. We have seen Microsoft, we have seen HP communicating similar message. All the analysts, they are communicating this message. So this change is happening. It's going to be big. The change will be big. And it's going to impact each and every single one sitting in this room. It's like the new tsunami that will hit every one of us. The question that I would like to leave you with, when this tsunami hits us, are we going to be ready? Are we going to survive? Thank you for listening, and thank you for giving me your time and attention.